Who else wants to speak? All right, Jake.
I'd like to go back on the statistic that you brought up, that every day 3 in 10 people either have anger management issues or start having anger management issues. Based on that statistic, if every single day 3 in 10 people have anger management issues, everybody in the entire world would eventually have anger management issues, which doesn't make sense. So, and also, just because someone has anger management issues doesn't mean that they're just going to go over and pop somebody in the head with a pistol. Some people know how to control it. Other people won't go and just go shoot someone. It really takes a different kind of person to go kill someone over a petty argument.
And then I'm just going to take up what you said. You can't, okay, just like referring back to you can't say somebody won't do something because here's the thing, you're not inside their head. You're not exactly like them. Every single person, everybody says that every single person is different, and that is true. You can't be inside their head and say that they're not going to do something. That's their decision, no matter if it's wrong or right. So, the fact, I wasn't trying to word it as like everybody would be crazy someday. I'm saying that people become angry because of our society today and because of how people treat each other. I know I'm wording this kind of stupid, because we don't have world peace. How society is today and how we treat people, it might sometimes become a gunfight or a battle. That's why I'm saying to ban guns, because people are going to become angry because of society today and because of how each person treats each other, because of bullying, because of just words just because of words on its own. So, yeah.
Michael.
Hi guys, I'm Michael. I'm a junior. Saying what you said about banning guns, if we were to ban guns, criminals gonna get a gun either way, for whatever means necessary, whether that be black market, making his own, or buying it off a friend from like another country where it's legal. And that means like, if there's no guns, that means, what are we gonna protect ourselves with? Pepper spray? I definitely wouldn't protect myself with pepper spray against someone who has an M16 or a Glock 19, so.
Derek.
Similar to what he was saying, say like all guns are actually banned and like just theoretically there's no guns in the black market at all. It's going to kind of create a paradox, like yeah there's going to be no guns, but people are going to invent new items, they're going to invent like crazy knives and stuff just to go kill people with. That's what we had before guns, people would go murder. Shoot knives, they would go murder. But so say that back before guns were created, there were still murders, there were still people that committed violent crimes, they had swords back then, they had maces, they had hatchets, whatever it took. So honestly, banning guns, even though they are considered more dangerous, you're still going to get hurt in the end. So really, we're safer with guns than without.
I would just like to point out like how we keep on been talking about like anger management and stuff like that, and how people are going to get their feelings hurt. I mean, like honestly, on a day-to-day basis, we like cuss each other like casually. Like that's just how we talk normally. So I doubt nobody's gonna go fully homicidal if we just say you're not a nice person. And I'd just like to reiterate on tranquilizer guns.
Anthony, good one.
Okay. First off, I want to start with a quote I heard from the Dalai Lama about gun control. And what the Dalai Lama says is that if someone has a gun and is trying to kill you, then it's only reasonable that you shoot back with your own gun. So even the Dalai Lama supports gun control, or less gun control. He supports the idea that everyone should be able to own a gun. Probably not as like a human right, but hey, if you want to own a gun to defend yourself because someone's trying to bust a cap in your ass, then hey, that's perfectly fine. Also, Zain, tranquilizers. I get it, it's a good idea. However, by switching to tranquilizers and having those become more commercially available, you would be crippling the defense industry, because there are thousands, probably tens or hundreds of thousands of people who buy it in the United States. So just because they contract in the military, sure, but a large portion of their profit margin also comes from recreational huntsmen, professional shooters, and things of that nature. So tranquilizers are not really entertaining to watch people shoot. It's not interesting to watch, oh wow, look, the dart, it went through the 10 right there. That was probably only 50 yards because they don't have much range at all. So really, just by switching to tranquilizers, sure, it will probably, protect you. And if I shoot someone with a tranquilizer, they're going to go down. No doubt about it. However, if we look back at what happened in the Colorado shooting, like Jake said, that dude was covered head to toe in body armor and gear. He had a helmet, he had a flag vest. Tranquilizer is not going to pierce that, no. I mean, sure, you could probably get, I don't know, probably whatever they use to kill rhinos or elephants, but that's still the soft underbelly, which is the softest part. And I'm sure our flak jackets are even stronger than that. So tranquilizers are not effective means of defending oneself. What is an effective mean is a 12-gauge shotty. Thank you.
Adrian, yes.
And it's true. People still are able to find ways to get guns through the black market. Like in Britain, I mean, like some British people can go crazy sometimes. Like you've seen the sports fans, and they're able to get guns anyway. The only people that are allowed to have guns in Britain are those that are high-ranked cops. It's not the average everyday cop. It has to be a very professional cop. And what I think we should do is, like, we need jobs, right? I mean, just hire a bunch of policemen and take the mental health test on them. Make sure that they're not going to have like some kind of like crazy abuse of power, and let them be the ones who have guns in case some people do get them off the black market.
For what Adrian said, how there should be more cops, I think that'd be the lamest thing ever. Because let's say you're in a movie theater and there's a cop right there. You want to do something? No, you can't. You go like every room, there's not going to be a cop everywhere. I think that's kind of a bad idea. That's all I have to say.
All right, Jake, go.
The idea of hiring more cops and having them on every street corner it's way too difficult to implement, and it costs way too much money for the government to expend, rather than just have private citizens have guns. And it's really illogical to keep making the argument over and over and over again that if you have gun control, there won't be shootouts between people with anger management. That people won't just drive by and kill people, because every time you have gun control, and these studies are multiple states with multiple demographics in different areas over the course of a decade, that murder rates with firearms, murders, increase up to 50%.
And then one more thing that I want to add. Isn't it worth it to have policemen, law enforcement on every street? Like you said that we shouldn't have that, and people should just own our own guns, people should just be able to have guns. Isn't it worth it to have law enforcement on every single street? Because think about it, all the money here is the government's money. It ends up being the government's money no matter what. They get paid for taxes, it ends up being theirs. If a place gets robbed, and a cop isn't there to stop it, if a cop was there on every single street, they could stop it easily, they would be losing money. Truthfully, in the end, they would end up losing money. So isn't it worth it to have policemen on every street? And yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so someone brought up just selling tranquilizer darts. Actually, Zain here did. Now, back in 1992 in Hollywood, there was a bank robbery. Two men, much like the guy in the Aurora shooting, were covered head to toe in body armor, then AK-47s that were fixed up to be way more dangerous. It could carry more ammo, all kinds of other crazy shit. And they killed like 5 or 6 cops because the cops had nothing but handguns that couldn't even punch through the armor. So what they ended up doing was going to a local gun store, they ran in and said, we need assault rifles. So now let's imagine if we didn't sell assault rifles. They ran in, covered in blood, like, we need assault rifles. Well, here's your slingshot, have fun trying to fight the other guys. And it wasn't, the only reason that they won that fight that day was because they came back with the bigger gun. That is what determines it, the bigger gun. And they came back with more firepower, and they blew the other guys apart because they were so confident, like, oh, these cops have got handguns. We have our giant AK-47s. And then the SWAT team rolled up, and the cops that came back with M16s rolled up, and basically blew the hell out of them. And like I said, what would have happened if they went to that store and got tranquilizer darts? Or there weren't any guns there because it got turned into a pet shop or something. We would have had a lot more dead cops. And then, there we go. That's 1984 for you. That's it.
Okay, unfortunately we are just about out of time.